within the first week of the preseason, we have a lot of injuries that have happened, and a lot of strange things happened. As Jets quarterback Zach Wilson was diagnosed with a bone bruise and a meniscus tear. For week 1, it's TBD at this point, but let's just see what happens. Browns starting center Nick Harris likely out for the season with knee injury. Former Brown center J.C. Treader is still out there, and he does know the system, so I would bring him in and see what you have. A few weeks ago, Buck center Ryan Jensen injured his knee in practice. It has continued to swell, even though this has almost been 2 or 3 weeks from this past. In fact, it's delaying the diagnosis from the doctor, said Todd Boyles, and who knows the severity of it all. A surprising thing happened as the Browns played the first preseason game, as they allowed Deshaun Watson to play in the preseason. But it wasn't that was surprising, even though that had a little bit of a shock factor to it. Deshaun Watson went 1 for 5 for 7 yards on 3 drives. Deshaun didn't look good, even though it was his first time playing football in almost 18 months. He didn't look good. He looked rusty. In fact, that's what CBS pointed out today. They said he is rusty. That's the term they used. Maybe that is the case, but he didn't look good. Let's see if he does get to play in week 2 of the preseason. We just have to wait and see. The Chiefs decided to cut defensive back Lonnie Johnson 3 months after trading for him with the Houston Texans, which was a conditional 7th round pick. The Chiefs have gotten remarkably thin at the cornerback position. This is the second cornerback they've cut in probably as many weeks, so it is shocking to see. According to a report, and I mean this wholeheartedly, because this is very important to know where this comes from. I wrote it down. The San Francisco Chronicle, written by Mike Silver, said Jimmy Garoppolo, after signing his contract, his $137 million contract in 2018, vanished for weeks and then came back. Now, this could obviously be true, but I don't recall hearing it at the time. I also don't recall the fact of him disappearing for any period of time. And the final thing is, if this is a thing that they just decided to do to get the final kick out the door, the last thing is I don't understand why they would do that. Because if you're trying to find a trade partner, which hasn't happened as of yet, they might as well just release him. This is not good. You know, maybe this was leaked out, or maybe this is San Francisco trying to give the final kick out the door. Maybe that's what this is. But this is not a good look for Jimmy Garoppolo, whether this is true or not. There was a few notable games a few notable players I was interested in this past week. Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good. Desmond Ridder looked really good. But Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett looked really good. Kenny Pickett had a game-winning touchdown. in the first preseason game. Malik Willis had a good game, in fact, of how he was playing. But according to Coach Vrabel, he needs to stay in the pocket a little more, trust that he can make the throws. Obviously, that's what you would want to do, but it's a sense of you that you are thinking, I gotta leave, I gotta go now, there's pressure, I gotta go, let's just run. And that's what happened. But he looked good. He performed well. And if I'm a Titans fan, I can't wait and see what this guy can do when he actually gets some time in the NFL season. Now, I am going to do a recap of the Broncos and Cowboys. However, there was not a lot to go off on if you're the Cowboys. At least positively, anyway. As the Cowboys had 17 penalties in the game, 14 penalties through 3 quarters. Cooper Rush had an absolutely abysmal game. Deshaun Wright got beat so many times it was concerning. I mean, a 3rd round pick getting beat like that was concerning. A 6'4" guy and he can't find the ball. It's like, oh my gosh. Supposedly the swing tackle, Josh Ball, at least that's what he's in line for the job. He looked awful. He got beat so many times. It was like every other second he got beat. There was a few bright spots. Simi Fehoko looked pretty good. Jalen Tolbert didn't look great. Jake Ferguson, the rookie tight end they brought in, looked really good. Peyton Hendershot, an undrafted free agent tight end, looked really good as well. A surpriser one was Ben DiNucci, looked really good. And a couple more surprises were Malik Davis, an undrafted free agent out of Florida, looked really good. And Aaron Shamklin, another running back, an undrafted free agent out of Harvard, looked really good as well. So, all in all, it was not terrible. There was some positivity, but a whole lot of negativity with the penalties, the mistakes. A lot of things have to be cleaned up if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, like I am. And if you're Mike McCarthy, you may get a little tired of having to answer why there was so many penalties against the Broncos and why you didn't look ready, but the Broncos were.